Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Attractive to all but black women. Yeah, about to start some stuff, but we got to call this out. And this is just on a real talk thing. This is something that's happening and we don't talk about it. Especially, last week or so, people were talking about that football player Jaleel Adae and something about him and his interracial relationship. The reason I'm saying it like that, I kind of tune out a lot of stuff, man. Honestly, when it comes to, I'm like, my focus, other than telling y'all some stuff or sharing what's on my mind with y'all, I'm just paying more attention to the political thing. I haven't said anything publicly yet, but I'm just as an aside with the political thing, I've actually done like political analysis professionally before, so there's a lot of information I need to gather before I make comments. I don't just make casual comments on anything. So anyway, that's that. But yeah, it was interesting. I just did a video the other day talking about the man's face and everything, and that's not the only thing a man really needs to get a woman and all of that, right? And it's interesting. I had a young brother say, he had a situation where black women never tell him he's attractive or handsome or anything. Don't seem to have, don't think he look good or something. Or they might, but they just don't tell him. Whereas he's met Asian and white women who've told him he's look good, he's handsome and all of that. And I'm like, you know what? That's something no one talks about. Like, if a brother gets with a woman of another race, right? It's always like, oh, he's selling out or he hate himself or all of that. But it's never talked about, well, maybe those are women feeling him, right? Maybe those are women feeling him. And this is a big deal. They act like, oh, these brothers just go out and had all these sisters and stuff chasing them down. And I've actually interviewed men since the late 80s on that issue, right? And it's never a case. It's rare. I'll say it's rare that the brother who would end up with a woman of another race, or even sometimes a woman of another culture, it's rare that they say, oh yeah, all these sisters are showing me love, or all these sisters saying that. Because that's a big deal no one's talking about. Even now, even with this podcast, I can guarantee one thing. If there's a black woman who listens and don't like it, if they want to use shaming language against me, they're not going to say, they're not going to try to say anything about my intelligence. Or some might say something like, oh, you just broke or something like that. No, it's always like, oh, he don't look good anyway. That's like the first shaming language, right? But a lot of times we don't talk about that. We're not talking, well, maybe this particular dude isn't seen as attractive to sisters. I mean, he could be, but he's not hearing it, right? Then all of a sudden somebody else come up, another race or something, and say, oh, you're handsome, you're gorgeous, something like that, right? And then the dude, he could be the most hardcore pro-black nationalist type of dude. Then all of a sudden he'd go over. And I've actually known some dudes like that. I've actually known some dudes. They were just hardcore with it. Like black power. All of a sudden they walking around with Becky. But I knew their situation. All the sisters, they being black power for, they were like, oh, it's cool. Be like supporting them, but then end up with some other dude, or don't want to deal with them, or don't find them attractive, or friend zone them, or something like that, right? And for some of the cats see them going out getting with Pookie and Ray Ray, so they just like, what? Or some dude who don't look like them, some black dude who don't look like them, right? And this is especially like. Because, like, some of the main brothers who will say this, and I gotta be raw with it, are the brothers with the most African features. I'm just being raw with it. I'm just being real. They're saying this. So it's like, okay, what's the issue there? Right? That these dudes, these black men, a lot of times they chocolate or, got more stereotypically Africoid features. They don't have that wavy hair or something. Not being found attractive by black women. Unless, of course, they're a celebrity or something and go out there and get them some women of another race. Then all of a sudden the sister's showing all the love to them. But otherwise, no. And you've had celebrities say that. You had somebody like Dennis Rodman say that. Right? He said the sisters weren't giving them any play. Right? And after a while, like I said, the most hardcore brother, all of a sudden, the women started looking good to him then. Because at the end of the day, any man is human. Any man is going to go. I don't care what his race is. I don't care what politics come in. Like, politics go out the door. I think I just mentioned that in a comment to somebody else on one of my other channels. Politics go out the door when it comes to that. Right? And, we got to talk. We can't be honest about it. Like, I'm going to tell you what. A lot of relationship discussions, especially when you talk about that interracial thing, are bullshit in my opinion. Because the question because it's always put the thing on the man, but it's just like he can't make any woman find him attractive. And how often any of those dudes can say, well, all these sisters warn me, but I just picked this white woman or Asian woman or Hispanic woman over all of these other sisters. Because I'm going to tell you the truth, just from what I've seen, only time I've seen something like that where maybe the brother might have been with a white woman or a woman of a non-black woman. I just use that as a catch-all, right? The only time I've seen that and then they end up still with a black woman is they were just open to different races anyway. But even them, if they got black women coming for them, they usually get with a black woman. But then you get the guys that don't have it like that. What happens? What happens? After a while, they just say, hey, that woman look good. Like I said, it's never a case of they initially find a woman just more physically attractive. But shoot. If you got like some black women constantly not showing him any love or got a problem with his features, boom, what they supposed to do? And it's a real issue. We got to if we're gonna have that conversation, we're gonna have to talk about everything. See, and I've said this before. That's why I don't like doing a lot of more mainstream or panels and everything, because we don't want to talk about the real issues. We don't want to talk about it because even now in what I'm saying, I'll get a thumbs down or somebody say, oh, I'm bashing the sisters. I'm just saying what's up. I mean, here's where I have the real issue, right? If you don't find the brother attractive, right, don't assume some other sister going to find him attractive. And don't get mad if he get with somebody who does find him attractive, regardless of what reason it is. And usually, and honestly, it ain't self-hate. It's self-hate if somebody going to keep going for women who are not trying to holler at him, who obviously not showing any love to him. That's self-hate when you put yourself in a masochistic position. That's masochism right there. Shit, everybody's pursuing happiness and pleasure. So they're going to go where they celebrate it, right? But it's an issue we got to talk about. Too many brothers have said this to me, and this ain't no like, a lot of people like to try to act like some shit just popped up in the age of social media. I said, I got the notes. See, that's a book will blow everybody away because I interviewed it, and it wasn't like just some casual talking, like formally interviewed some dudes. Formally interviewed, like academic style type of study thing. All right, still got the notes. Still got the notes. One day I might be motivated to publish them. But I don't really need to get the message out more through a medium like this. But it's something that has to be discussed. And I always say, and you know what? Just as an aside, I always say, yeah, this need to be discussed. I'm one man. I can't always give solutions. But sometimes getting the conversation started that way, and the more people who hear it, then they can think about, well, what's my own role in it, right? Like, and I can put this on some sisters. This is something I've done with a lot of sisters. I'll be riding with a sister, hanging out, and I would ask them the same question every single time. They'll see some brother or suck their teeth. They'll see a brother with a non-black woman. I ask them the same question every single time. I say, okay, if you saw that brother walking by himself, would you find him attractive? 98% of the time, the answer is no. So it's like, all right, because It's like, oh, what's the problem? Then they might say something like, well, another sister might find it, but what if another sister have a similar like level of attraction? Because usually attraction, if one person in a group find you unattractive, of course there's always somebody who's going to, but you never know when it's a case when several in the same group find a particular person attractive or unattractive. You know? So that's the thing. And it's kind of funny when sisters say that anyway, because I'm like, y'all don't have that same sisterhood if it come down to some guy y'all think is fine. Y'all be trying to cut each other's throat. And I'm just being real. We gotta be raw with this. We gotta be raw. And shoot, that was a game my grandmother laced me with. That was a great game my grandmother laced me with. She said, hey, if a black woman ain't finding a particular black man attractive, and a group of them don't find him attractive, shoot, where you gonna go? And this ain't a justification, rationalization, any of that, because people need to get off of that anyway. See, people want to be on some fantasy, but ultimately, I don't care what their race is. People gonna go where they celebrate it. You know, you got a lot of black women out here. They feel like the brothers rejecting them. If they got some white guys showing them some love, where they gonna go? Boom. Well, Hispanic, or you got some people. They might get along better with Asians. People gonna go to the people who like find them attractive. So that's something, hey, as always, something to think about. Anyway, I get back with y'all. Y'all have a good day. Peace and blessings.